happening in today's world, it is caused by the humans. Like, because we didn't do our in Yagna spirit. People got greedy and they didn't care about those industrialists. They didn't care about the environment. They destroyed the ozone layer. They threw trash in the ocean, and then the fishes started dying, and then the cycle got disrupted. So we already know. So here the language is different, but the bhav is the same. The rules are the same. It's like a gravity, the rule of gravity. Whether it was 5 billion years ago or now, rule of gravity has not changed. The same way these things don't change. These are the kind of laws laid at the time of creation only, you can say. So just keep all those aspects in mind, that the rain happens because of the sacrifice of people in the right way. Where does the yagna come from now? So here it says that the yagna comes from karma. Because even physically, if we have to do a yagna, we have to act physically, right? We have to make that little havan kund, and we have to bring the pandit. The pandits have to work hard and things like that. So that's the sequence. That yagna comes from karma, by action. So, and then where does the action come from now? So here it's given the action come from Brahma. So here Brahma ko, one of the saints said it very, very nicely. Consider it Vedas. Because what are Vedas now? Vedas are, we have discussed. Vedas are, firstly look at it like a manual for living. How do I live my life? And like somebody said, जब हम लोग कोई इक्विपमेंट खरीदते हैं ना, तो हम लोग को मालूम नहीं पड़ता कैसे यूज़ करें, तो वी नीड अ मैनुअल कि भाई इसको यूज़ करने के लिए, मैं अच्छे से यूज़ करने के लिए ट्रायल एंड एरर तो हम भी कर सकते हैं, बट अगर हम लोग मैनुअल नहीं यूज़ करेंगे तो ट्रायल एंड एरर करना पड़ेगा, गलतियाँ होंगी, फिर हम कुछ गलत भी कर सकते हैं, राइट? हम उसका फुल पोटेंशियल नहीं यूज़ करेंगे अगर हम मैनुअल नहीं पढ़ेंगे तो. अदरवाइज वी से I didn't know I could. It happens to me so many times that I didn't know I can do this with the phone. I don't know I can do this with my computer. So if you actually want to use it perfectly, so you use your manual. Vedas, you can consider them manuals of humanity. So when the earth was, not even earth, cosmos was created, then this is the knowledge of the cosmos. So that's why we say Vedas are eternal. They have not come from a person. Definitely not. Nobody can say this person wrote the Veda. Whenever we say Vedvyas, we always say he compiled it. It is not creation of his mind. So then how does it come? And we have discussed it many times in here. It comes from, it reveals itself. The words are revealed. And who does it get revealed to? People who are pure in their mind. So you can call it higher intelligence or whatever. It comes through you. And there are numerous examples. Somebody was saying that किसी ने बोला तुलसीदास जी ने रामायण रची है, तो तुलसीदास जी ने खुद बोला नो, मैंने कुछ नहीं रचा है, शिव जी ने रचा है और मेरे थ्रू आया है. I am the निमित्त. It has come through me and it's not my doing. So he does not take credit for it. And in the modern world, everybody's heard of Ramana Maharishi, right? So Ramana Maharishi left home when he was 11 years, or I don't remember exactly, 13, 14. He didn't go to a formal schooling and all that, anything. But he has written Sanskrit verses called Updesh Sar, it's called. And I think that Meenaji is checking, because in Chinmaya Mission we use that, and we did a study group on Updesh Sar too. They are the most beautiful Vedanta in simple language, and they're a compilation of verses. And the story goes that he used to go and do the parikrama of the Arunachal mountain, and one day somebody told him to write something. So in that circle when he was doing, this thing came to him and it came out. He'd never got a formal education. He'd never studied Sanskrit formally, but it is in perfect, like this Bhagavad Gita का ऐसे song है ना, वैसे उसको गाया भी जा सकता है. So this is a modern age, what you call प्रमाण है उसका मतलब एविडेंस है कि ऐसा हो सकता है. ओके, सो दैट्स व्हाट वेदास. सो वेदास में what is in Vedas, in very simply put, that knowledge of the world, कि भाई world है क्या, creation and all that, and then knowledge of that highest means Bhagwan, or you can call it truth, substratum, Brahman, and then how to get there. So the path of liberation, and then different lokas, and you can go on expanding. So there are all these things come. So when it comes to humans, मैं ये करूं या ना करूं, अगर confusion है, Vedas can guide you. That's why they're saying karma comes from there. Because if we start doing it on our own, it will be a disaster. Okay? So even like a small child, the parents have to teach, certain things, that do this, not do this. So you can just see that humans need to learn. There are other creatures, it naturally comes to them, certain things. Not certain things, everything, if you think about it. But humans, since we have intelligence, they have to be guided constantly, or we have to guide ourselves. So now let's see the sequence again. Let's go reverse. No, not yet, sorry. So now Vedas. So where did the Vedas come from? It's coming from that Akshara Brahma. The Akshara is the word. Everybody has heard the word Akshara, right? किसको बोलते हैं अक्षर? इस वर्ड्स को बोलते हैं ना अक्षर, क ख ग घ को अक्षर बोलते हैं. एंड द अदर मीनिंग है, और ये क ख ग घ में भी वो मीनिंग आता है, द वन दैट नेवर डिकेज. Akshara means to decay or to change or something like that. Akshara means the one, something that does not, क्षर जिसका नहीं होता है, जो क्षय नहीं होता है, जो खत्म नहीं होता है, जो change नहीं होता है, that becomes akshara. Okay, so the Vedas are coming from that Akshara Brahma, because that Akshara Brahma has revealed, that higher intelligence revealed something to a pure mind. So वो Vedas बन गए. वेदा में कर्मों का सब कुछ लेखा जोखा है कि कैसे करना चाहिए, तो वहाँ से सीखा हमने. फिर कर्म से यज्ञ आ गया. ओके, यज्ञ भावना. यज्ञ से रेन. रेन मीन्स वाटर. वाटर से फूड. Food से हम. Okay, that is the sequence. So that's what this is going to say. So now the question is that if we don't follow the Vedas, we do many mistakes. Okay, and who can write the Vedas, or बोलना चाहिए, who can reveal the Vedas? Even if we logically think that what are the good karmas, bad karma, I have to know the whole picture. Then only I can say, okay, कि भाई this is a good karma or not good karma, because you have to know the past, current and future भी क्या होगा. The whole knowledge somebody needs to know. Only that person can make this judgment कि ये कौन सा काम अच्छा है और नहीं है. हमारे में वो capacity नहीं है. We are so limited. So in our arrogance, we might think, I know everything. No. And that's why all the saints and sages, they always say, शास्त्र प्रमाण लेके आओ. कि ये सही है कि नहीं, शास्त्र प्रमाण लेके आओ. And they will bow down to the shastras and say, yes, if they are saying it, then it is true. If somebody else is just making it up, they're not going to believe that. That depends on your shraddha now. So because you see in the medical world also, because, I'm kind of an association through my husband, they always keep changing. पहले बोलेंगे ये खाओ बहुत अच्छा है, फिर 6 महीने के बाद बोलेंगे नहीं इससे नुकसान होता है, दूसरा कुछ खाओ. दवाइयाँ भी ऐसी चेंज होती रहती है, बिकॉज वी डू नॉट हैव द बेटर पिक्चर. हम लोग को अपने शरीर के बारे में नहीं मालूम है. So complicated. And my husband, he's in the science field for so long. He's even retired now from science. Not really, he's not retired from science, but from his work. But he says, जितना हम जानते हैं, जानना चाहते हैं, उतना लगता है हमको कुछ नहीं आता. इतना complicated है. So, who can guide us? Vedas can guide us about the basic things. Okay, because we don't have that picture, and this is, I was just giving an evidence कि भाई क्या सब कुछ change होता रहता है. आज सुबह भी Joe was saying before the class कि they are saying कि 6 feet वालों को ज़्यादा होता है or something. कोविड ऐसे एवं ही कुछ भी बोलते हैं लोग. अभी बाद में बोलेंगे बौने लोगों को ज़्यादा होता है. I mean, we don't know. So, to come back to it, Vedas are the one that guide us, and Vedas have come from that Akshara Brahma. That's why we need to give more importance to it, because we are not capable. That's the point I was trying to make in this thing. So now I already went through the sequence. So what it is that this Yagna spirit actually drives the Srishti Chakra. That's what in these two verses is revealed, because that I gave you the cycle, it drives that. So we have to become the part of this wheel in a correct manner. That's what it is going to say. So now let's see the modern context now, because this was like a context. Did everybody understood this cycle? Doesn't anybody have any question in this cycle that we talked about? No? Okay. So what is the modern context? So let's think about the modern way. Modern people will say, I want to find out how the universe was created. So then they have these telescopes and whatever, and they go back in time. Because I watch those shows, so I kind of know a little bit what they're talking about. So they say, okay, because the more further you see in our universe, you find out you have gone back in time. Okay, so they have some way to calculate all that. So they have come up with this theory of Big Bang, right? Everybody's heard of that Big Bang theory. So what is that theory? Right now, they said the galaxies are running apart from each other. They're running away from each other. But their time comes when they start coming closer. So they also believe it's a cycle, that it goes out and then it comes back. And so at the beginning of the universe, they call it singularity. One point. There is no different dimensions in there. And then there's a bang, and they call it Big Bang, but you're not talking about some big blast happen, nothing like that. But basically it just split. Okay, so from there the time starts, space started. Okay, they call it, different matter came into existence, and then stars are formed, and in the beginning there is like helium and hydrogen and all that lighter elements, and then the stars are formed with heavier metals. That's how we are formed, like that. But if you just get stuck at the matter, it doesn't mean anything. If the humans are not there in their consciousness to recognize it, what does it matter then? So coming back to consciousness, now they are recognizing that there is something beyond matter, and which is a consciousness, and the matter is secondary, dependent on the consciousness, and consciousness is primary. From consciousness, matter comes. Okay, so this is the modern theory, and then so we have concluded that consciousness is subtler than matter, and it is like substratum of matter, because even in our Vedanta they call it the substratum is consciousness, and that's how everything comes. So both the theories now are kind of coming close to each other, and then, but what is that consciousness? We have learned that is our own Atma. So it is within us only, that consciousness. And from that consciousness, you can call it cosmic intelligence is born. What we call the higher intelligence or cosmic intelligence. Because there is a rhythm and harmony in the whole universe. Even the matter, how it behaves, there is some laws are laid down. So you can call it comes from that substratum, the consciousness, this cosmic intelligence. And in Vedanta, it is called Hiranyagarbha or Brahmaji. You have seen that Brahmaji ka concept is that he has this intelligence, but he also has to do tapas and all. We won't get into all that. But a creator bolo, Brahmaji bolo, Hiranyagarbha bolo, ya cosmic intelligence in our modern language. And to give the analogy, even us, when we go in that deep sleep, that we have the intelligence which becomes like a seed form. It's there. and then we are doing nothing, it's just there, that's it. As though हिंदी में बोलेंगे कि भाई हम जब डीप स्लीप में जाते हैं तो जैसे वी एग्जिस्ट विद इन ourselves, हम अपने आप में ही समा जाते हैं. ओके, वन पोएटिक वे ऑफ सेइंग बट इट टेल्स यू द होल प्रोसेस. तो हम अपने आप में समा गए. फिर जब हम उठे, then that intelligence wakes up, right? We recognize ourselves and recognize the world, both. Same way, think about it, that Brahmaji, that he's in this, beach form में है, मगर when Brahmaji wakes up, then he recognizes the world, recognizes himself. And he's the one who becomes a creator. That cosmic intelligence starts the wheel of the world. That way you can say. And so this ability to act, हमारे में जो शक्ति है ना काम करने की, वो उस cosmic intelligence से आई है. Because when you see in the world, even the matter has a cosmic intelligence. That's why it acts in a certain way. So, it is bound by that law. And when you expand that law to, alive things, then again, it's governed by these cosmic laws. And that's where the ability to action comes in. And then, we have to look at the ability to act as a gift from God. Very simply put, So where did I get the ability to work? It came from above, so you can call it gift from God. And because of this ability to work, we evolve. That's why when I was talking about that the wheel of the universe moves, is because of that ability to act. That's how it works, okay? So what kind of abilities the humans have? We have physical ability, mental ability, we have ability to speak, intellectual ability. All that is coming from that cosmic intelligence through us. That's why we have all this. So now we talked about कि in that cycle, वेदों से हमने सीखा कैसे काम करना, फिर हमने काम करना शुरू किया. तो हर एक काम यज्ञ नहीं है. Okay, that is one of the very important thing. It is some sublime act or some little deeper. So if you take all the karmas, you can separate कि भाई ये वाले कर्म यज्ञ कर्म है, because उसके पीछे भाव क्या है. Do you have the भाव of serving people? You have a higher altar. You have you sacrifice something, then it becomes a yagna. Ordinary, we know that sometime ordinary कर्म अगर वो यज्ञ स्पिरिट में ना हो, बाधा बन जाते हैं व्हील में, progress में बाधा बन जाते हैं. And also that's where we have to kind of remember. And remember the two elements of yagna spirit or yagna bhavna is sacrifice and dedication. So I should be willing to give up something, and it can be anything like we discussed. Everybody can contribute something. Somebody can say, I'm totally sick, I can't move, I have all these problems. Then you can pray, Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha. That is giving contribution, because you are creating a bhav you're creating vibration, good vibration. It's a huge thing. So everybody has to, should get out of this. And spiritually speaking, what happens when we act in the yagna bhavna? So physically world, okay, chakra chal raha hai, and it's moving, it's like तुम अपना योगदान दे रहे हो. Spiritually, if we get yagna bhavna and we work in that, we transcend our limitations. We can do a lot more work. We can make difference in a lot of people's lives, because you are getting out of the selfish. And even in the world, if you see how the progress is made, suppose there is a factory and there are all workers over there, and one worker starts shining. He starts thinking about other people, he starts understanding how everything works, then he gets promoted to a supervisor. फिर वहाँ भी उसने बहुत अच्छा काम किया, then he becomes a manager. One day, who knows, he might become an owner. So how he's transcending his limitations बोल दिया ना, because पहले वो वर्कर ही था, by working in Yagna spirit, by thinking about higher and higher and all that. And the highest is, of course, you can reach, Brahma, but just from worldly sense also that we can see. So now, one very important thing that Swamiji brings, and in Chinmaya Mission we are taught about this, that when we talk about rain, it's extremely symbolic. So rain is, on one hand, it's like when we think of rain, it's just water, okay, water se anna bana, anna se hum bane, वगैरह वगैरह. मगर जैसे हम लोग वो जब फसल उगती है ना, उसको हम बोलते हैं the products have come. What Swamiji explained, that every kind of production is a kind of rain only. Okay, so rain is symbolic of something coming out. And you can let me give you an example that I think I have talked about this in some other context in the same thing. Certain areas in the world have a conducive environment for certain kind of industries. Like Mumbai is a financial center and the film industry. How did it become like that? Because a lot of people, like-minded people, came there, started doing the trade and things like that, did in Yagna spirit so much that huge production happened of finances or film industry, entertainment. Lot of like-minded people came, creativity happens, and then it attracts more people. People work really hard and all that. It rains entertainment there. In what you call Silicon Valley, it rains IT, because so rain is nothing but a productive potential which comes out with everybody's hard work. And then in this world, we all require products to live on. We know that. And so when we say food in this verse, it is not just khane wala food or annamay kosh. Deeper meaning is every kind of thing that we require in this world is called food. And, a spiritual person will need spiritual food. Like we need this class and things like that. And, किसी को कुछ जानवरों को भी food चाहिए, मगर different kind of food चाहिए. Then, dogs also need some love and some, toys to play with. If you give a cell phone to a dog, he's not going to appreciate that at all. But these days, the children want that. So everybody needs this food, and it is created by cooperative work. So just to bring it in the modern context. So, let me see which point. So we need required food for mind, body, intellect, and all those things. And but we have to have, for our spiritual growth, we need to do in the Yagna spirit in such a way that we come out of our selfishness. If you want to go to spiritual path or the worldly path, same Yagna spirit, the goals might be different. So the Yagna spirit actually can take you to the highest, or below the highest is, doing good for the society. And that's also very good. You start from there. But what I'm trying to get at, working in the Yagna spirit can take you to the highest. And that's what, Bhagavad Gita is talking about. That and the final conclusion of this verse is that the entire life cycle rests in Yagna spirit only. So uska wo crux bol do. The whole life cycle ka crux is Yagna spirit. Okay, and just to make it simpler now for ourselves and come back to our goal over here. Through Yagna spirit, we purify our mind. That purity of mind will recognize the Brahma, or the highest. And so, I think somebody's thing got unmuted again. So that Yagna attitude will. So if I start from, say, worldly Yagna also. Suppose if I don't know how to go this high-fi. If I start from the worldly perspective, it will slowly get more and more subtle and sublime. And if I continue with it, it will take me there. Okay? And, in Chinmaya Mission, we do a arti. Na karmana na prajaya dhanena. Meena ji, do you know this arti? And even Kamlaji might know this is the Vedic Arti, they call it. Vedic
Yes.
Arti, हाँ. So उसका meaning है कि भाई so it's like na karmanana prajya dhanena tyage neke amrutatva manashu. So it's like you cannot get the highest by just working or by wealth or by people. It can only happen by tyaga, means it by sacrifice. So again, the yagna bhavna comes in. Unless you are ready to sacrifice, you're not going to get the highest. So even the Vedas say that the same thing. Okay, so and in the final analysis, it's like I start with what do I sacrifice. So first I dedicate my actions to Lord. Remember we talked about very early in the karma yoga that you do dedicate everything to the highest, and then it becomes karma yoga. So I'm dedicating my action to Lord, and then I'm also dedicating the fruit of the action to Lord. Remember we said that don't prasad buddhi and all that. So fruits also I give up to Lord, and in the end मैं खुद को ही समर्पित कर देती हूँ. That is the highest yagna, when I gave complete myself only to Lord. And I think that in some of the what you call line of bhakti vagara, they call it atma nivedan. There are different bhaktis, So, and this is the stage when you yourself give to the highest. It's like a drop is becoming the ocean. That's that thing over here. The drop becomes the ocean, and then you attain the highest. Okay, so in these two verses, all this is in there. You can see it's loaded with everything. And so basically, what is the conclusion? The whole universe rests in yagna. We should be working in yagna spirit, and through this we get to the highest. That's what it is. Okay, so any question or comment? So many things that I said. And then we can start reading now. If anybody has any question, you can say it. You can raise your hand like this if you want.
I just remembered the song of SRF. So do thou, my Lord, thou and I never apart. Wave of the sea, dissolve in the sea. I am the bubble, make me the sea. So that was the
very beautiful. Yes, true. See how whatever we have learned, it comes together. Okay, so who is my volunteer today to read Swamiji's?
Okay, I also want to say something.
Yes, sure.
In this, what you said, everything is all resonant and all that. So here they say that the first is the Anand Kosha, that is made from the thing. The second one is the rain, and rain here is the liquid flowing or the vibration, and that is the that's also referred the astral energy that is flowing in all of us.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we die also, and that astral energy again becomes a karma.
Mm-hmm.
So when we die also, again the astral energy is going back into the God. So that's how also the cycle of birth and rebirth is also explained properly here.
Nice. So you can see that these verses can fit in the life cycle from many different angles.
Yeah.
From the yogic side, from everything, it's a harmony. You can take the same things, and that's why when we read that the paths, you will see that how Swamiji explained it so nicely about different paths. Okay.
Yeah, so they're saying this cosmic energy actually produces two things, light and sound. So light is, of course, the astral energy, and sound is the word Om.
Yes.
So
Mm-hmm.
it's good we are,
Yeah.
learning everything now.
So that's a cosmic intelligence, you can call it, in these two different ways it comes. Yes. Okay. So who's the reader today? Who did not read last time should read it today. Shireen, you want to read? You have to unmute.
Yeah. So 14 and 15.
Yeah.
So from food come forth beings. From rain, food is produced. From sacrifice arises rain. and sacrifice is born of action. Should I read the 15 also?
Yeah, because I think now I have given you a very detailed one. And
Okay.
once you read the 15, I will repeat the whole cycle one more time. Yeah.
Know you that actions comes from Brahmaji, the creator, Brahmaji. And Brahmaji comes
Your voice broke up.
in, therefore the principle ever rests in sacrifice. The cosmic wheel of
Yeah, just one
cooperative
second. Before you go further, I will just remind the cycle just one more time so that it becomes. So it is imperishable or the substratum, then Brahmaji, and you can call it Vedas or Brahmaji. And from that comes, the karma. From karma comes the yagna. Yagna comes the rain. Rain comes the food. Food comes people. Okay. And one more thing. You have that big fat book, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
right.
so that won't work. I think that there will be things missing. So somebody else who has this book needs to volunteer too. Yeah, go ahead.
I think
Neeluji raised her hand. Yeah. You have to unmute yourself, Neeluji.
I apologize. Sorry.
No problem.
The cosmic wheel of cooperative action is being narrated here in the familiar language of the Vedas. The living creatures are born out of food and they are nourished by food. The mineral wealth of the world becomes assimilable food, both as vegetarian and non-vegetarian, only by the action of rain upon it. But for rains, the vegetables and grass will not grow, and the lack of proper grazing grounds is a danger to cattle wealth. Rains come as a result of yagna, and yagnas are performed through human action. That's it.
So I explained everything, right? I hope it became clear. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
This stanza may appear strange to those who are not ready to bring the full shaft of their intelligence for the purpose of understanding. I beg your pardon. For the purpose of understanding it. It is evident to any modern educated man that living creatures are born out of matter. Matter is rendered consumable and digestible, nutritive and assimilable only by the action of rains upon it. But the difficulty in understanding the stanza is when we come to the next assertion that the rains come as a result of yagnas.
So just Swamiji is just, obviously when some people who have not studied the Vedas little bit or don't know, then they are going to argue that, hey, what do you mean that the rain comes from yagna? Rain just happens. But then I explained the whole cycle that why it's saying is, so he's just saying that if you superficially see that, you may have a problem, but then he's going to explain, Next.
Literally, this stanza may be read and understood when we know that even in our times, at places, rain has been invited and invoked by true devotees by faithfully performing certain rituals prescribed for this purpose in the Vedas. Of course, the success of the innovation
Invocation,
is
actually. It is
proportional.
The word is invocation. Invocation means to invoke.
The success of the invocation is directly proportional to the sincerity and faith of those who are performing the rituals. But the cosmic forces producing the natural phenomena, rain, do not always depend upon the yagna. Else rain would depend upon the caprice of a section of the Hindus, who alone are considered fit for the performance of such a ritualism. But no doubt it is a fact that there is a technique of invoking rain through ritualistic activities. It has been so familiar in India that any sacred yagna conducted in an area, at least on its last day, witnesses even in summer a few drops of rain.
So here he's just telling you that actually Vedas say that, but you cannot say that, hey, if you don't perform Yagna, rain is not going to fall. But other side is also true, that there is some truth in it, that when you do the Yagna, and he's saying कि इंडिया में ऐसा होता है. अब ये भी फेथ की बात ही है कि भाई यज्ञ वगैरह करो तो बरसात होनी शुरू हो जाती है. Okay? Next.
But in Krishna's words here, we are not warranted in accepting that. He is advising Arjuna to follow ritualism. In this stanza, he also elsewhere all along the Gita, the familiar terms of the Vedika period have been charged with new meanings and significances. Rain is the essential condition for the conversation of the mineral raw material into enjoyable and nutritive food. Similarly, in all fields of activity, there is an enjoyable profit which can be gathered only when the fields come under conditions favorable for them to produce those profits. Self-dedicated activities, yagna, when performed in any given field of endeavor, will be creating therein conditions necessary for the fields to smile forth. Rain. In a luxurious crop of profit, anam, which will be enjoyed by the society.
So here in this paragraph, firstly he's saying that we cannot say literal meaning that Arjuna has to follow ritualism. Remember, he was telling Geeta at the time of war. He's not going to tell him sit and do the yagna. So then there's a much more deeper meaning behind it. And then I explained the whole thing, the productive potential, that when you work together. So he's saying that how when you performed in any given field of with self-dedication activities, then the field smiles forth, means the result आता है उसको rain बोल दो आप. कोई भी चीज़ अगर उसका प्रोडक्ट निकले ना, उसको यहाँ पर सिंबोलिज्म एज रेन. एंड देन क्रॉप ऑफ प्रॉफिट अन्नम, हम लोग को भोजन मिल गया, मगर देन इन annam is like we discussed that in Bhagavad Gita, when they say when we eat food, they do not mean it's only like खाने वाला food. It means all five senses को जो चाहिए उसको food बोला गया. So that's why he's saying that any place where some production happens of some product, consider that rain. That's what he's saying. Same thing what I explained.
For example, the wasteful waters of a river flowing idly can be dammed and made use of. If the water is intelligently employed in irrigating the fertile lands now lying fallow on its banks. Through sacrifice and work alone can the dam be built, and when it is built, it provides conditions helpful for bringing the lands on either side under the plow. Again, for making use of irrigated land, man has yet to strive by plowing, sowing, weeding, wafting, gathering, before he can come to enjoy the profit of his activities, the food.
So he's just telling over here that how without working hard हमको कुछ प्राप्त नहीं होगा, right? It's like, okay, नदी बह रही है, but unless I create that plowing and making a dam, sowing, weeding, उसके बाद अन्न मिलेगा, So that's why the whole wheel of cycle rests in action and actually Yagna spirit. That's what he's bringing, that whole cycle, that without doing work. And like when we teach the little kids in younger grades and all that, we say that God gives you apple seed. He does not give you apple. He gives you the seed. So then you are the one who's going to plant it and do all the work. Nothing is given to anybody on silver platter. And if you keep taking on a silver platter, you're going to be in deep trouble, because then you know that, impurities will come in the mind and all that, and everything will become, sad situation. Sorrows will start coming. So that's what it is. That, without hard work, you cannot gain anything. Go ahead.
We are shown this wheel of action, stanza 15, is connected with and includes the supreme. The principle of right action, nay, even the power to act, has come from the Creator himself, and the Creator is none other than the imperishable, the supreme. Action is in the newborn live baby. Action is a gift from the Creator. Therefore, all-pervading supreme, is ever centered in all undertakings pursued by one or many people in an honest spirit of self-dedication for the good of all.
So now you can see that how Krishna Bhagwan has brought Arjun to a stage where he needs to respect the action, because he wanted to run away. Remember? So coming back to even chapter 1, how this is linked. So he's saying that ability to act is a gift from God. Act in the correct way and you will reach the highest. Yeah. Just by sitting around, you're not going to get it. So that's the conclusion over here. These two verses. Comments? Boliye, Meena ji.
Umaji, is there can we take this to this is the macrocosm way of saying it. Can we take it to the microcosm way of the yagna, of what we are doing now? This is also a yagna, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. This is a Gyan Yagna we are doing. Yes, it is a Yagna because we are.
It's a yagna.
So I think that what you are saying is very relevant, because we talked a lot about cosmos and all that. What is my role in it? I have to do every action like Yagna. That's what Krishna Bhagwan is saying, that remove that selfish thing out of your thing. Me, mine, and I. There's three important people in my life. I, mine, and me. तीनों को निकाल के फेंक दो. And just see, every time think, how I can do for others. It can be family. Start with the family and then you go expand. And even, this group, if everybody didn't cooperate, we will never have this group.
Well, that's what I mean.
Yes.
Microcosm is our group.
Yes.
And how it started with the action from the Lord Atma. He gave you that direction and you formed a group, the three of you, Manju, Sneh, and you. Mm-hmm. You formed the group. So that is itself is, that is the start of it. And then how you, the rain, what is the rain in this one? You look at the rain in this one. You tell me. Yeah. Rain is the necessary condition. And the necessary condition was first yourself, then we need the books, then right now we need this, a phone or a tablet or something to connect. All those are the necessary things, for that. So yes. I thought of it that's what is necessary. And the sacrificing is we all are putting in some effort. Mm-hmm. We read. We also put in an effort of our time, get away from the things. We are all putting in there. True. Those efforts are putting in there. So that's part of it. That's the rain. Yes.
And go ahead.
What we do with it in order to produce, we are reading here, we are discussing here. So the food is the prasad that we get, is what each one of us gets. True. Is the knowledge each one of us gets. And that is the prasad. And some of us are even giving those prasad to the others when they tell others that what is happening and join in the yajna. So they are even spreading that prasad to the others as well. So that prasad, is being distributed beautifully.
Yes, very nicely you put. And, a lot of people, they contributed their talents in this group also. Yeah. Like, Joe started doing the recording thing and so many people are benefiting. Kamalaji helped everybody to get the books. And, right. Each one of you did something, and then, coming on time, and bringing all the stuff that is needed to study and all that is part of the yagna. That's exactly right. So this is one example. Yeah. You can take this example to anything. And you will see that always it will come out very, very nice if everybody works in the yagna spirit.
Right. I mean, I had to understand. So I had to bring in something to understand what was happening.
I think you did it correctly. Yes.
And the beautiful part that you said is about the alphabet. We give it to the children. It's the seed. Then you read and how it grows. It's beautiful. We are giving alphabet means a seed given to them. A means seed. Mm-hmm. And then it grows.
True.
And then you can read and you can become something.
Yeah, you can
So
become
that
a
was
big
beautiful.
writer. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so that was beautiful. I compared alphabet to the seed that is given to the child, and then you grow from there.
Good thought, Meena ji. Good thought.
So,
Anybody else want to share?
I have a comment. I want to bring it to the lowest level. The very reason we survive is a yagna, because we breathe.
True.
See, if we don't breathe, we'll die. So we have to do the action of breathing. And to me, even that is a yagna for you to survive. So you can go to the highest level or you can go to the lowest level. That is why we exist. So when you dedicate all of this to God, you can live your life the way you're supposed to live.
True, true. And even at a microcosm level, coming back to micro, even when I talked about that higher intelligence comes through everything, atom is doing so much action. All those things are going around so fast and all that. Uska bhi action chalu hai bhai. That's also yagna. It's following the law. So true. We can bring it to lowest level or the highest level, or microcosm or microcosm. Both are yagna. Everything is in rest.